Mark, what do you have like an overarching definition of Creole? Because I guess I want to be able to correctly apply it to Madagascar.
Yeah, well, that gets so complicated, and I feel like depending on where you're from, it kind of changes because, like, here in the U.S., like, and if we talk about like where my mom's side's from, like in Louisiana, Creole is it's an ethnicity, and even within the ethnicity, you have people who are very different, racially, but it's still like a similar culture. And it's really just being Latin. A big thing about being Creole is like I would say a lot of people do kind of, the French speaking is one, being Francophone, being Catholic, eating the foods like similar food preparation techniques and stuff like that. And that's a big thing. There are people who are Creole who don't have French ancestry, but that is a big thing for a lot of us. Even if it's like a little bit, it's at least like, all right, everybody like has a little bit of French connection somehow. And I guess it would be not too different in places like Mauritius and like, Reunion, where it's like just like this kind of like mixed culture, people from all different, racial backgrounds kind of coming together, and over, the past few hundred years just being like, intermixing, intermarrying and stuff like that. And it seems like, well, I don't know if that's been happening in Madagascar, but maybe. So, yeah.
So it does, right? Um, but that's where I'm like, okay, well, would we label it Creole, right? That's why I wanted to ask you. But you're right, like it's different somewhere else, and it might not be called that, right? So that's why,
Yeah.
That's what I'm like kind of thinking over it.
But you guys like naturally don't identify as Creole.
No, we don't. That's what I'm saying. Like the Creole, it was always like Reunion, was always Mauritius, was always Seychelles. It was never Madagascar. But like so I think what might differentiate it is the language aspect. Because when you speak Creole in those islands, you know what that means, right? But there is no Creole language in Madagascar.